Let's talk about toys. So I don't really know what this channel is anymore. I do a. There's never really been like a point extensively. I don't even know if I would call this a podcast. This is more just a slap bash review of the movie Toys by David. Hold on. Like I was saying, this is a review of the movie Toys, directed by Barry Levinson, who also directed. I didn't research anything. This isn't like one of those videos where the guy just knows everything. So, I will edit down the time though. Yeah, Barry Levinson. He also did movies like Disclosure, Good Morning Vietnam, Sphere. God, I just don't recognize any of these films. It's weird. I recognize Good Morning Vietnam and The Natural. And Rain Man. That's right. He did Rain Man and Avalon. All right, fair. He's done some big ones, but he's done a lot of like What Just Happened, The Humbling, The Band That Wouldn't Die. Like, I know some of those are probably like bad examples, and they're probably like some other kind of work, because I see that it's by ESPN, like The Band That Wouldn't Die. So it's like, all right, well, obviously that's something kind of weird. What is The Band That Wouldn't Die? Oh, it's a documentary film. Okay, that's different. All right, I'm not gonna make fun of that. But yeah, he's done a lot of other really good movies. And Toys was a movie he made in 1992 after his film Bugsy. It was 4 years after Rain Man. To put it kind of in perspective, I suppose. And it's a movie starring Robin Williams and, Joan Cusack and LL Cool J, who I thought was going to be terrible, but was actually a delight. So to kind of give you my personal experience with this movie and why I kind of wanted to talk about it is because it does kind of feel like this bizarre oddity of a film. Like it's a kind of a modern cult classic. I don't know. It's from '96 or '92. Wait, when the fuck was? It's 4 years after Rain Man, '92. Yeah. So early '90s kind of film, and it's been around. And I think a lot of people forget about it because, at least in my own kind of personal sphere away from the internet, I'm sure there's a plenty of people who remember this movie, but I've brought it up to quite a few people, and they have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. And it's a movie with Robin Williams, so you'd think that at least people would have heard about it, because Robin Williams is one of those actors where people know about most of his films. There's plenty that they don't, but a majority of them people know about. So when you bring up this movie that Robin Williams is in that they've never heard of, I feel like there's an inherent curiosity about it. Because even they feel like they've even heard of his dramas and his less popular movies at this point. But then you bring up Toys and they're like, wait, what? Toys? What the fuck is Toys? And you're like, I don't know, it's that Christmas movie that isn't a Christmas movie at all. And they're like, what? I fight with people about this. It's a Christmas movie, but it's not a Christmas movie. It literally starts on a Christmas parade. Not Christmas parade, but a Christmas a play, musical of some sort with Christmas music playing over it, and it's a big spectacle. And it fucking lasts 10 minutes, and it's a terrible start to the movie. It's magical and everything, but it's such an odd tone. I think it's trying to kind of set this kind of what's the proper word for it? Fantasy, wondrous kind of vibe to it. Oh, this world is so wondrous and magical and out of and it's also establishing that it's Christmas, so it's also kind of trying to do two things, I think. But like, I hate it, and if you've never seen the movie before and you watch that opening, you'll probably just be like, whatever. But if you watch the whole movie and then we watch the opening, you're like, the fuck does this have to do with it? It establishes that they put on these plays. It establishes that this toy factory has this level of life to it that is like so much more than just this corporate facility, and they try to sort of create a more, I don't know, carefree environment, which, you know, however you feel about that, I understand the theming of it. They're trying to make capitalism not bad, whatever. Anyways, they're really trying. All right, no, but for the time it was made, and all of my bullshit aside, it really is kind of just them trying to make the factory working not a terrible place. And it's a toy factory, so it should feel like, you know, upbeat. And that you really, a lot of the setup, without really going deep into the backstory of like the dad of Robin Williams, who is a gentleman in a beanie with a propeller that spins, and if it stops spinning, he dies. And it stops spinning within like the first 20 minutes of the movie, so you know things are getting bad. I like the burial scene a lot. This is going to be rambling, by the way. Like, don't expect any kind of format. I'm just going to kind of talk about the movie, like, and like add thoughts here and there. I'm not a professional, and I'm just recording this mostly for me. And if y'all want to hear it too, go for it. I think this movie's worth talking about, like, not because it's a good movie necessarily, but because it's a fascinating movie, because it's kind of like a movie you study, because there are parts that are really good about it. Like, there once you get past kind of the intro with the fucking Christmas music and the bullshit, watch it on Christmas. It's like, even if it isn't like a Christmas movie all the way through, because, you know, it centers around toys and it's in a toy factory, but there's barely any like toys like throughout the entire movie. There's gags that involve toys. I guess you are seeing like parts of dolls being put together, and, you know, there's a lot of references to toys, but you just don't see a lot of like, and it's like really weird looking toys too. I don't think that helps. Like, the fact that the toys are kind of creepy looking definitely kind of makes clashes with the whimsy of all of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely some clashing art styles, and I think that's why it doesn't connect with a lot of people, is because I feel like it's trying to have one mood, but like the aesthetics of it are so like not that at all. Like, they're really off-putting, and like, ugh. It's got that old school 60s weird kid shit. You know what I mean? Like, even for the 90s, that was dated, but now if you watch it now, it's even more just like, ugh. Like, so it's aged off, like, terribly. And, but instead of, like, you know, like, most people's natural reaction to that would be, ugh. But, of course, my reaction to that is like, huh, you know, like, it pulls me in because of how off-putting it is, and there are parts where the set design is fantastic. Like, I distinctly remember like the big like Microsoft Windows Vista hills, and the people walking down it as they march towards the whatever, and LL Cool J's there, talking to Dumbledore, and this is a real movie. So I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but the movie does kind of become blurs in places. Like, I remember there being like actual points, you know what I mean? Like, I remember the room where they're all like sitting around the dinner table and talking, and it's really red, and there's a lot of fucking bright red colors, and there's some background elements that are really cool. And the chairs are like, I think the chairs are like these massive clocks, or they look like buildings or something like that, and it's just really fucking cool to look at. Like, what they're talking about isn't that interesting, but you're too busy kind of just fucking admiring the set that you don't really care. But the plot of the movie isn't terrible either. Before I ramble too long about, you know, aesthetics, there is a plot where basically the owner of this toy factory fucking dies, and his son is a little too childlike and immature, as it were, to take over, and his daughter is also not fit. I think one of the best scenes for Joan Cusack in this movie, before I forget to bring it up, is the scene where she is in the fucking bathroom scream singing at the ceiling as, what's her name? I can't remember her name because I'm terrible. Oh, this was Jamie Foxx's fucking film debut, by the way. Side note, this is the first movie Jamie Foxx was ever in. So, fun fucking fact for all of you. Toys. You're welcome. Robin Wright, that's right. That's who it was. So that actress was playing Gwen Tyler. I'm sure you would forget her name if you watched the movie too. So please forgive me. Gwen Tyler is kind of just randomly introduced in that movie because she's just working in the copier room, and there's this really bizarre, like, who's on first joke with LL Cool J and Gwen Tyler that's kind of awful, but also kind of entertaining, too. It's weird. Like, it got a laugh out of me because LL Cool J is playing the scene really fucking straight. Like, really straight. Like, no smiles, no wink at the camera, nothing. It's just the most ridiculous, stupid dialogue played as serious as possible, and something about it worked. Like, usually that scene would just be awful, but only if there was like a tongue-in-cheek, like, wink kind of, but it was played so straight. Like, there was an actual conversation happening. Something wonderful about that scene. But that introduces her, and then Robin Williams meets her. And there's a really, really sweet scene where they talk with each other for implied hours while they eat at a cafeteria. I think one of the biggest flaws in the movie is that the romance is extremely weak. It's really strong at the beginning. Like, they establish their relationship well, but after that, once it gets past about halfway through the film, where there's like an implied but not seen sex scene maybe between and there's spoilers, but like not really, because the plot's kind of weak, so don't worry about it. It's just, if you're gonna watch this movie, you shouldn't be watching it because you need to see the plot. Like, it's you're missing the point if you're going into toys wanting something really deep and interesting. It's a really basic plot. It's really just a story of a coming-of-age story for Robin Williams' character, for, you know, growing into himself and becoming an adult, essentially, through hardship. Yeah, it's one of those plots. You know, it's nothing complicated. There's a lot of really great set designs. There's a lot of really great comedy in it in places. I think Robin Williams' performance is honestly the weakest part of the movie, because there's a lot of parts where he's just kind of making Robin Williams jokes, and you know exactly what I'm talking about if you watch the movie. And it kind of just takes you out of it, because it's just like he's no longer like, you know, Leslie Zevo. He's Robin Williams, and it's like, oh, it's a little distracting. I really wish maybe if they had cast that character with a different actor that was also kind of comedic. I don't have any examples off the top of my head, but it just had somebody else in there and played it a little bit, maybe not necessarily straight, but in a way that he was just kind of immature in a different way. I think that would have been a lot better. But there's a little just bit too much like improvised nonsense humor, and I think that's maybe why it didn't work as well in the movie as it could have. There's parts where Robin Williams is really good. The scene where he walks in and there's like smoke shooting out of his fucking jacket. It played really well. The comedy works perfect there. It establishes him as kind of like this mischievous troublemaker, you know, which just plays into his character really well, because that's kind of how he gets to butting heads with the general character who takes over for the toy shop. Which Michael Gambon gives an unnecessarily good performance in this movie. I remember there being a scene where he's like staring at himself in the mirror, like doing this really deep monologue, and I'm like, Michael, it's toys. You don't have to put this effort into this, dude. Robin Williams just walked into a room, just had a scene with you where his suit wouldn't stop making sound effects for every motion he made, and it drowned out basically the entire scene. And you're gonna sit there and give one of the fucking most intense war monologues I've ever heard in a movie. Okay. That's reasonable, Michael. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Gambon. So yeah, Michael Gambon's fantastic in it, like unnecessarily fantastic. forgot her name again because I'm the worst. I'm the worst with name. Robin Wright. She's fine. Nothing that. She fills the role all right as a clueless kind of spectator. She doesn't really have too many strong moments, in my opinion, in that movie to really stand out as a really fleshed out character. So that's my take on her character. LL Cool J. Believe it or not, I was going into it because my history with this movie, real quick, before we get into the LL Cool J situation, is the reason I know about this movie in the first place was because my aunt would watch it all the time. She had it on whenever it was on cable, which it played on cable quite a bit, especially during the holidays back in the day. It doesn't really do that. Post, like, 2010, I think they really stopped showing it. And but she had it on VHS, and now has it on DVD. And I recently watched it, which is why I'm kind of wanting to talk about it. Because for me, there is this level of nostalgia associated with toys. Because there's just some really, really strong things that stick with you when you watch it. And I've always had this strong attachment, and I've always remembered the scene where he walks into a factory, and there's just these spinning, like, things with heads at the top, dropping these doll parts into these fucking, like, I don't know, luggage bag carrier thing, carousel things, you know? You see at the airport? Like those, and then there's factory workers, and they're all dancing. It's just this really, like, but it's, like, really muted. It's not that colorful or bright, you know? So it's not, like, whimsical. I know I'm kind of repeating myself here, but I really gotta emphasize that, like, there's such, like, this mood they're trying to get, and they can't achieve, but I like that, because it's a little more, like, realistic. And I like the fact that it's realistic. I like the fact that it's a little bit more grounded and that it's not this played up nonsense, like, nutbag film. Because there's a lot of scenes that play really well into its realism, and it lets you kind of believe the scene with the weird eel with the robot eyes that can shoot rockets out of its mouth and kills Michael Gambon. Spoilers. Not the biggest spoiler. It really, you kind of see that coming. There's a bigger spoiler that I will not say, but let's just say Joan Cusack's character is fantastic, and I love her a lot. And she's a delight to see whenever she's in a scene. She's just stealing it, and she's definitely, that's the performance you really watch the movie for, is hers. I know she kind of plays a lot of characters kind of like that, but I don't know, it really works. Like, you could make the same. A lot of people might say, well, you could make the same argument about Joan Cusack you could about Robin Williams, that she's just kind of playing Joan Cusack or whatever, you know. But I don't know. It works better. It fits the tone better. It's not as distracting. So even if she is kind of playing into some of the other kind of stereotypes she has in other characters that she plays, it works better, you know, than Robin Williams making some ad-lib improv nonsense that you've already kind of remember, you know what I mean, from other shit that you've seen Robin Williams in, whether it be a stand-up or other movies or shows he's been in. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's this shtick, you know, and that, I feel like, pulls you out way more than Joan Cusack kind of just hitting a different, like, a familiar tone that she's hit. Like, it's different. So, anyways, fantastic. I love her. She's great. And I know this is scattered, and I know this is all over the place, but overall, I think this is a movie kind of worth your time. And I don't want to say too much more about it, other than if you can find it, it's out there. I'm sure you can find it on eBay. Find it, watch it, enjoy it. It's not a good movie. I need to. That's how I'm gonna end this. Toys is not a good movie. It's an interesting movie. I think it's worth watching it. Excuse me. I think it's worth watching at least once in your life, just to kind of see the sets and the kind of the old school practical effect kind of stuff. Like, there's some really cool shit, like how how the house that they live in kind of pops out like it's a store, like a pop-up book, you know, like that kind of shit. It's really fun to watch at times. Not gonna lie, about 3/4 of the way in, it drags. You know, they're kind of just running through a maze, and there's tanks chasing them, and that happens for a while, and it's just it can be a drag of a movie. It really doesn't need to be. Where's the runtime here? It feels way too long. 121 minutes. Yeah, it does not need to be a 2-hour movie. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. They could have shaved 20 minutes off this movie easily. So it's a very long movie. So just know that going in, but know that like it's 75% of it is worth watching. 70% of it is worth watching. I'll go there. I'll go 1/3, not 1/4. Just based visually, just based on other performers don't go into it expecting Robin Williams to put on a great performance. He doesn't. It's not really. I know it's weirdly misleading because his face is on the cover. But this isn't really that good of a Robin Williams movie, but it's a fantastic like everyone else movie. Like everyone else puts in a amazing performance for this fucking film. Even like I was saying before, LL Cool J, I was going in expecting like a shit like stiff awful performance, but like for the character he was playing, it worked. He was just playing like his hard like, yeah, I'm tough, but like, you know, when he still cared about his cousin, and like I enjoyed that character arc. You know, it was simple. I kind of saw it coming a mile away, but you know, you still want it. You know what I mean? Like it would have sucked if it didn't happen and he just would have betrayed him or something. Like no, that's the point of the character. So I enjoyed his character a lot, and I thought he was also a really good performer. Like everybody puts in a fucking really solid performance, besides Robin Williams. And it's worth your time to watch at least once. Get a big group of people, watch it together on the holidays, preferably. It really does feel like a Christmas movie, even though it's not really a Christmas movie. I will argue to my deathbed with this one. It's a Christmas movie at the beginning. It's a Christmas movie at the end, but the middle has nothing to do with Christmas. It's just a guy. It's just a toy factory owner who needs to fucking get better with his finances, basically, and just fucked everything up, and it's basically his legacy falling apart. If you like that kind of shit, if you like the fallen legacy kind of trope, give this movie a shot. It really is just that. Like, don't be intimidated by its length. It earns it to some degree. There's parts that are drawn out and unnecessary and stupid, but there's plenty of other parts that outweigh that, and at least balance it out and make it not too exhausting of an experience by the end of it. You get the ending you want, and there's some twists and turns here that definitely will make you go, oh, huh, what? Nah. So give it a chance, check it out, watch it this holiday season or something. Yeah, I don't know how many other videos I'll make like this. I don't know if I'm ever going to make a video like this again. I really just wanted to talk about toys, and I don't think really, maybe there's like a bajillion videos on toys already. I don't know. Probably it's YouTube. Everybody's already made something about something, but you know, we need another video about toys because goddamn it deserves it. Because it's a unique experience without it being a fucking like it's not edgy in any sort of way. It's very safe, but in that restriction that it gives itself, it does lend itself to some really creative, interesting things. You know, there's more worthwhile movies out there. I'm trying to end this on like an honest note and not try to like build this up as like, you need to see it, it's the best thing you'll ever see. Like, it's not. It's fine. I put it up there a little bit higher because I'm nostalgic for it, and I think if there's other people that are, you know, around my age or maybe younger, maybe a little bit older, that kind of also grew up with this movie or you know, remember seeing it, you know, during the holidays, that, you know, there's a level of nostalgic attachment to it as well, that kind of make a lot of the flaws and a lot of the soft edges of the film kind of just not bother you as much, because it kind of just, it feels like a blanket at times. It kind of just feels like a cozy blanket. So sometimes just throw it on. Just throw it on a cold, wintry night during the holidays and enjoy. Or right now, you know, it's got to be really fucking cold. So this movie might perk some cheer in your ass or something. I don't know. I'm getting it. How long have I been talking about toys for? Like a half an hour? Jesus. This is gonna be edited down severely because a lot of this is just dumb. Thanks for listening. Because I don't know, I think I'm just gonna have a still image for this whole thing. I don't really want to put that much effort into editing this. This isn't supposed to be some big thing. Now there's children screaming in my hallway, so I'm gonna end it here. Thanks for watching, I guess. Click that subscribe button. I just do music stuff, but once in a while, I guess I'll talk about things. I know this is gonna get like 7 views, and I don't care. Because if those 7 people watch toys, then I've accomplished something. So, yeah, bye.